All right, Sammy, step over here, Doc.
Quiet in the court, please. Mr. Probation Officer, you say your boy knocked the other color to the ground?
Yes, Your Honor.
You realize you hurt the other boy so badly he had to be taken to a doctor, Sammy?
Yes, sir. But I didn't know I hit him so powerful like.
Why did you pick a fight with him? Don't you know it's against the law to hit anybody?
Yes, sir. I know it's against the law, but I didn't expect this gentleman to be standing right there when I done it.
You must have had a good excuse for hitting him.
Oh, I got a good enough excuse, sir.
What is it?
Well, it's this way, sir. I's got a dark complexion, sir. And I don't mind if the white boy sometimes makes remarks about it. But when another colored boy tells me, Sammy, you sure got powerful sunburn last summer, I just actually loses my head.
Quiet in the court.
Politician.
All right, Sammy. I'm going to let you go this time, but your father will have to pay the doctor bill. I think when he finds that out, he'll give you more effective punishment than we can.
Judge, ain't there no way I can get out a junction against my pappy's beating me?
I'm afraid not, son. You may go.
All right, Sam. Run along now. Be a good boy. It looks like I'll have very little trouble getting Judge Kavanaugh interested in our proposition, Dan.
Well, you can't tell, Mr. Murray. They tell me he keeps pretty well out of politics.
Well, if it isn't Kavanaugh, it'll be somebody else.
I've never seen you fail yet.
Next case.
Jane Peters, step up, please.
And the woman?
2 charges, Your Honor.
Yes?
Accomplice and contributing to the little girl's delinquency. The little girl says she taught her the tricks and forced her to steal. And Mr. Gray, who is the detective for the National Department Stores, caught them red-handed.
It's a lie.
Silence. What is your name, my little friend?
Jane Peters.
And is it true that this woman forced you to steal?
I didn't force her to do nothing of the kind. I'm a good, honest woman, I am, and what I done for her good.
When I want you to speak, I'll call on you. Answer my question, Jane.
You won't let her beat me.
Why, of course not.
Then it's true.
Lies. All lies. She's an ungrateful little brat. Why, I've
If you don't keep still, I'll have you sent to jail for contempt of court.
She says the little girl is an orphan and she raised her.
I've worked my fingers to the bones.
What's your business?
I'm a fortune teller, and an honest one, too, who never stole anything in her life.
We have all kinds of witnesses, Your Honor. Mr. Gray, the store detective here, is ready and willing to testify.
What about this, Mr. Gray?
I'm the detective for the National Department Stores, Your Honor, and I can assure you this little girl turned the profits of her theft over to this woman.
How do you know that, Mr. Gray?
Well, it happened to be my pockets that she picked.
Silence.
I hope he isn't too hard on her.
She's a cute little brat, isn't she?
Jane, how long have you been doing this sort of thing?
About a year, maybe 2.
I just got an idea, Dan.
What's that?
You know, the papers have been saying some very unpleasant things about me lately. Now, it might not be a bad gag for me to make some kind of a gesture to win myself more favorable publicity.
I don't get you.
Supposing I ask the judge to let the kid off on probation. Supposing I say I'll be responsible for her, that I'll give her a chance. Perhaps make her...
See, that's a good idea. You could send her to boarding school. You wouldn't have to trouble with her after that.
That's right.
And is this woman any relation to you?
Oh, no, sir.
Where are your mother and father, Jane?
I don't know, sir. I don't think I ever had any mother and father.
I'm sorry, Jane. But I think you've just fallen into the wrong hands. I'm going to have to place you where you'll be properly treated and trained. For your own good, I'm going to send you to the House of Correction until you're of age.
Please don't send me there. Please don't.
Your Honor.
What's the great Al Murray up to now?
Search me. But whatever it is, you can bet your bottom dollar it's something crooked.
If it would please the court, I'd like to do something for this little girl. From what I've just heard, it's evident that she's the victim of circumstances and bad environment.
Quite right.
Now, I happen to be in, shall we say, rather better than ordinary circumstances, and I have no one who can enjoy the fruits of my modest success. If the court will release this little girl to me on probation, I'll do all my power to place her in schools and among such suitable companions that will give her a better chance in life.
That's a very generous offer, Mr. Murray. It's just such charitable acts as this that really count. No right-thinking judge could do otherwise than accept your offer. Jane, I'm going to let you out on probation until you're of legal age. Mr. Murray is responsible for you. You are to obey him in all things. If you disobey, I shall be forced to cancel the probation and send you to the House of Correction.
Oh, thank you. I'll always mind you. Honestly, I will.
I'm sure you will.
Hold this woman for special session.
I have you to thank for all this. Oh, I know you. You're one of those big-moneyed swindlers. Why, you're the worst crook in this town.
Silence.
Curses on you.
Enough of that. Come on.
I can read the future. I can see your death. Just as you have everything to live for, struck down, killed by a lion.
Silence. Hold your tongue. Get this woman out of here. Clear the court. Silence in the court.
Well, Judge, looks like I'm going to have to keep away from the zoo.
It looks very much like it, doesn't it? Well, if you have any difficulty with this child, just return her to the court. And by the way, you sent word that you wanted me to see me privately.
Yes, Your Honor.
How about coming to my house tonight?
Thank you. Come along, Jane.
Next case, John Robbins.
Don't forget it's 225.
Yes, I know. Nobody would ever think that Jane Murray is the little Jane Peters that we took out of juvenile court 6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years made a big change in the young lady.
Finishing school's done a lot for her.
If you ask me, cost you a lot of money to make a lady out of her.
Ah, but it was Dan.
Yeah? I wouldn't be too sure about that yet.
Why not?
Well, she's coming home today. Now she'll be around all the time. How do you know that she's not going to interfere in your affairs?
She's going to be too busy to interfere in my business.
I didn't say business. I meant Mabel Gordon.
Mabel won't have anything to say about it.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Yes, Miss Brown?
Mr. Lambert and Mr. Dunson to see you.
Send him in.
Don't forget, we must meet that train.
I'll get rid of him in just a few minutes.
Did you get Mr. Murray?
Yes, Miss Gordon. He'll be here in a few minutes.
I rather thought he would.
I must apologize for running out on you just as we were introducing ourselves, but I simply had to call him so he wouldn't go to the station to meet me.
Oh, we'll probably be seeing a lot of each other. You might as well begin now calling me Mabel. Have one?
No, thanks. I suppose it's rather strange for a girl this day and age not to drink, but I tried it once and was ill for days.
I wish it made me sick. Then I might stop.
That is, when I wasn't sent away to summer camp.
Well, I don't blame Al. Mr. Murray for being anxious to see you again. Oh, well, whenever Mr. Murray has anything on his mind, he usually comes to me for advice and, consolation.
Well, don't be surprised if I should come to you for some advice myself.
I'd be flattered if you would. Mind if I have another?
Not at all.
Come here. What's on your mind?
Well, I've been away from home so much that I don't even know what to call him. Mr. Murray, I mean. You see, when I was little, I always called him Daddy. But now
My hunch is he'll still want you to call him Daddy.
And he never even wrote me himself. The only letters I ever got were sent by his secretary, Dan.
Huh. I didn't even know Dan could write.
Oh, will you excuse me while I go to my room and change my clothes?
Run along. Don't mind me. I know my way around here.
Where's Miss Jane?
She's in her room, freshening up a bit.
Oh.
Miss Gordon's waiting for you, Mr. Murray.
Miss Gordon?
Yes, sir. Hello, darling.
Oh, just a minute.
Why, baby, aren't you glad to see me?
Oh, yes, of course, but don't do that now.
Well, what's the matter, dear?
Well, Jane's here, and after all,
Oh, and she is a dear.
you haven't been telling her anything about us, have you?
Well, what do you think?
What did you tell her?
To call you Daddy?
If I catch you putting any wrong ideas in that girl's head...
Say, listen. Remember, I know where all the bodies are buried. And I might tell if I had to.
What do you mean? Are you threatening me?
It's not a threat, Al, dear. It's merely a suggestion.
Hello, Jane. My little girl. Welcome home.
I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here.
Have you... oh, yes, you two have already met.
We're quite old friends.
Have a nice trip down?
Yes, thank you.
Well, come over here and tell me all about it. I'm very anxious to hear.
Well, I guess I'll run along and let you two get into the family affairs yourselves. Besides, I'll see you at the party tonight.
Party?
Well, why, yes,
Yes, Daddy's giving you a homecoming party.
Well, it's just a few friends, but if you're too tired...
Oh, I'd love it. Besides, it'll give me a chance to meet some of your friends.
And I'm sure they'd love to meet you, too. Well, goodbye.
Shall I see you at the door?
Not at all. I can find my way out. See you later.
Now...
Ow. I want a drink.
Pardon me. She's always... So this is where the great Al Murray lives.
Oh, I suppose there is some difference between this and the 40-room dog kennel you live in.
Not bad.
Come on, I'm going to lead you to the big moment.
Which is the girl I'm supposed to meet?
You guess.
Of course, I'm partial to blonde. I'll take that one.
Oh, you sure can pick 'em.
Say, what's the gag bringing you here tonight to meet this girl?
Oh, you rich men are all alike. You always suspect us poor working girls of having an ulterior motive.
Well, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, lead me to the slaughter.
Hello, Mabel.
Hello, Jane. Miss Murray, Mr. Coleman.
How do you do? I was afraid you weren't going to get here.
Well, I was afraid so, too. Bill insisted on stopping at every bar all the way. Consequently, he's positively tongue-tied. But I'm quite sure he'd like to dance with you.
How sad.
Wanting to dance with you?
No, being tongue-tied.
Well, now that you two are properly introduced, I'll see if I can't rope somebody into dancing with me.
May I? Okay.
You'll pardon me if I borrow Fred Astaire for a few minutes? Oh, all right.
Excuse me. Listen, Mabel. Why did you do this?
I wanted to dance with him.
No, I don't mean that. Why did you bring Bill Coleman here?
Well, why not? He has everything a girl could ask for. Money, family, good looks. Listen, Al. You don't expect to keep that girl in a hothouse. She'll have men around her all the time.
You dance beautifully, Miss Murray.
Thank you.
Don't you ever talk?
Oh, I always thought it was rather silly on a dance floor.
Well, I agree, but I sort of felt in the mood for talking. Where could we go?
Well, I think we'd better dance.
Misfortune and the clouds dear pass.
Al, why do you act so bored with me tonight?
Because I think you're meddling in something which doesn't concern you.
You mean Jane?
Yes. You know, I've been thinking this thing all over, Mabel. I think it's about time you and I were having a talk.
Well, not here, Al. Let's go to the hall.
Mabel, you and I have had a lot of fun together. Now I'm willing to do the right thing by you.
In other words, we're through.
No, of course we can be friends, but somehow or other when I saw you and Jane together this afternoon, I realized the whole thing fully. Her coming here has placed a very definite responsibility upon my shoulders.
Are you quite sure it's just responsibility?
Purely.
Well,
let's have a drink.
Don't you want a drink?
No, I'd rather have some fresh air.
Shall we walk out on the balcony?
You sure Mr. Murray wouldn't mind?
Why should he?
Well, I don't know. I would if you were my ward.
Well, since I'm not your ward, suppose we take a chance on it.
All right, you take the chance, and I'll take anything else that isn't nailed down.
The city at night, with its millions of lights, thrills me. The mystery of it all. Tragedy, love, romance. Don't you think of it that way?
It reminds me of rattling milk wagons.
I'll bet you have a long-standing acquaintance with milk wagons.
Naturally, I meet them nearly every morning. Say, do we have to pay extra to sit down?
Not at all. That is, if you paid your admission.
I thought I knew almost everyone in this town. Why is it I've never met you before?
I've been away at school.
Now, start from the beginning and tell me all about yourself.
Oh, it would bore you to tears.
No, it wouldn't, really.
Well, there's not very much to tell. That is, until Al Murray sent me away to a school for girls.
There, I knew you'd see it my way.
You didn't leave me much choice, Al.
Well, you come up to my office tomorrow afternoon and we'll settle this whole thing in a friendly manner.
Just as you say.
Now, if you'll excuse me, why, I'll look after my other guests.
Al, aren't you going to have a drink?
After a while. Have you seen Jane?
She's out on the porch with a very good-looking fellow.
So there, you have my history.
Now, that's very interesting.
It must be, especially to a person who's traveled all around the world, as you have. Shall we go in?
No, please don't go yet. Come back. Guess I had that coming. I'm sorry.
What right have you to come to my home and do a thing like this?
Well, I apologize. There's nothing much else I can do.
There's one more thing you can do. You can leave immediately. Good night.
Really, I meant no offense. I hope you'll forgive me.
I'm sorry, Jane. Sit down, please.
Uh-oh, don't tell me you got thrown out.
Believe it or not, this is one time I didn't run into a door.
The first time you come to a lowbrow party and you get pitched out. Well, that makes the pair.
What? Don't tell me you've been thrown out, too.
Right on my ear.
Oh, well, we've been thrown out of better places than this. Come on, let's celebrate.
Right.
Dad.
Nothing more to do with close the bar.
Close it up? Okay.
I'm very sorry, friend. The party's over. Good night, everybody.
Hey, what's the matter with Elle tonight?
A little disturbed. Pay no attention to him. It's all right. That's all, boys and girls.
Having a ward isn't such a bad gag after all.
You're telling me?
Come on, fellas, let's go down.
Hey, what is this, a fire or something?
Come on, baby.
Too bad this had to happen on your first night at home, dear.
It was all my fault, I guess.
Well, from now on, I'm going to keep you close to me. I've been thinking that perhaps later we might possibly mean more to each other than just guardian and ward. After all, we're not related.
I've been wanting to tell you something all day.
Yes?
Only I hated mentioning it.
Oh, don't be afraid.
I won a scholarship that entitles me to the privilege of traveling in Europe for 6 months with all expenses paid.
Good.
I'd love to take advantage of it.
Well, that's all right, too, but I'd hope that possibly later we might be married.
Married?
Yes, why not?
Well, I don't know what to say. Oh, I do so want to repay you for all the things you've done for me. Perhaps after I return from Europe.
Well, your being in Europe would give us an opportunity to think things out a little bit more clearly.
I'm dreadfully tired. Will you excuse me?
I certainly did.
Good night.
Good night.
Pardon me, but I have followed you through England, Belgium, Germany, Italy, and now we're in France. Will you please tell me where we go from here? Aren't you ever going to forgive me for just one little mistake?
Oh, Miss Jane, here it is. I hope I didn't keep you waiting long.
Not at all, sir.
How about lunch at Odette?
Fine. Let's go.
This is the place. The garçon, a table for two.
I have no vacant table at the moment. But this gentleman, he wouldn't mind having us his table.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome, mademoiselle.
Tea and biscuits, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Tea and biscuits for two.
Yes, sir.
And waiter, make mine extra strong, if you please.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, yes. As I was saying, when we return, I insist on your accepting the position in my shop.
You mustn't be too impulsive. You see, this trip has only shown me how little I really know about interior decorating.
If you insist on belittling yourself, I'll be provoked with you. Oh, yes, I forgot to tell you. I designed a gorgeous Perrault costume for the ball tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry I told you I was going as Pierrette. It'll spoil all the fun.
Well, isn't it strange how fate seems to always be bringing us together?
You may be certain that fate has gone to a lot of unnecessary trouble. Garçon.
James, listen to me.
Get me another table, please.
But mademoiselle, monsieur says...
Another table, if you please.
Will you please be reasonable? Coleman is my name.
Oh,
Bill
yes.
Coleman.
Yes, indeed.
I'm a friend of Jane Murray.
Oh, yes.
I'm planning a new home, and I'd like to consult you about the interior decorating.
Oh, yes.
Shall we step into the garden?
Well, you see, I have a young lady I'm meeting
it won't
here.
take any more than a minute.
Oh, no, I'm meeting Miss Murray here.
I'll
I really
explain. Oh, that's
see,
all
I
right
have an
now.
engagement.
I wonder where Clarence is. Oh, there he is now. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Hello, Clarence. I've been looking for you everywhere.
I have an awful cold.
Oh, that's a shame.
Shall we dance?
Why, Clarence, you're marvelous dancer. Is your throat hurt?
It's killing me.
Perhaps we'd better not dance anymore. Let's go out and get some air.
Fine, let's.
Oh, it's glorious out here, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Have you ever made a mistake in a man, Clarence? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about your voice. I guess I didn't expect an answer anyway. I was just sort of thinking out loud. I suppose it's very bad form to force someone to listen to your stories about your heart interest.
No, go on.
Oh, there isn't very much to tell. It's just that I've fallen in love with the lowest, most brutal man in the world. He was the man I was talking to when I met you today. Clarence, stop it! For heaven's sake, behave yourself.
Jane, I do love you.
You!
How did you guess it?
I might have expected something like this from you.
Well, you can't back out now. You've already confessed. Oh, Jane, we love each other so much. What's the use of denying it?
There's no use. I do love you. Do you think it was quite honorable of you to try and fool me with Clarence's costume?
Oh,
How did you get his costume?
well,
Where is he?
last I saw of him, he was stretched out under some shrubbery.
Bill, you
Never
can...
mind about Clarence. What about us? Are you going to marry me when we get home?
Well, I can't answer you now. You must give me time to think.
You've done too much thinking already.
Bill, you know so little about me. Why, you've only met me once before.
I only know that I've loved you ever since.
There's something I must tell you.
I don't care to hear it.
Wait until we get home. I want to talk it over with my guardian. You understand?
You're not in love with him, are you?
No, of course not. But he's been so wonderful to me that I feel I owe it to him to tell him first.
Jane, something's worrying you that you haven't told me.
Well, this morning I received a radiogram from him telling me to come home at once. Something's wrong. And I feel I should find out what it is. I owe him that much.
Darling. Ooh la 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 la. Shall we dance, darling?
Not until you find Clarence.
Oh, yes, Clarence. Well, you wait here. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, Jane, one more hour and we dock. Then home. It'll seem pretty good, won't it?
Somehow, I dread it more than anything I've ever experienced.
Never mind. I'll be there beside you when you see him.
Don't look so worried, Bill. After all, Mr. Murray won't harm me.
Oh, I know that, only he...
Well, the worst you can do is to ask me to marry him again. And and then consider me an ungrateful little wretch when I refuse.
Nevertheless, I'm coming over to your house this evening.
Miss Murray? Miss Murray?
Boy.
You, Miss Jane Murray?
Yes.
There's a radio player for you.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Bill, he's not going to be at the boat to meet us.
It must be something pretty important to keep him from meeting you.
So you're both trying to run to cover and leave me holding the sack. Yellow, aren't you?
Now, look here, Al. I've taken all of your lip that I'm going to.
Wait a minute, boys. No use in us quarreling among ourselves. Well, we got $1 million right in the palms of our hands. And what do you want to do? Back out and run away?
Oh, but I tell you, Al, it's no use. We're licked. I've got private information from the city
Oh,
hall.
the devil with your private information. I told you that everything was fixed.
Well, take it from me. If we don't clear out of here in the next 24 hours, we'll be sitting on the inside looking out.
Well, there's such a thing as putting them on a false trail. Until we can get this money cleaned up and get away.
Oh, not me. No, I'm through.
Well, the only evidence that they could possibly get is locked up in my safe at home. Now we've gone this far and we're going to finish it.
Don't forget, I haven't forgotten how you framed Horn. And if you think I'm going to do a jail sentence for you after your little double cross, you got another think coming.
Now, wait a minute, Al. Now, take it easy now. I double-crossed you.
Yeah.
Well, Horn got what was coming to him.
You have a short memory, Murray. When we went into this deal, we had a gentleman's agreement that we would share and share alike. Now, when the final payoff came, you grabbed off more than Lambert and myself together.
Why shouldn't I? I did all the work.
Well, I'll lay odds when it comes to a showdown that he and I'll take the blame, not you. Coming, Lambert?
You haven't got the nerve to follow Benson out of here. Send Dan in here. Get me 2 railroad tickets tonight for the local. I'll catch the express at the junction. And make reservations on the first boat sailing.
Are you and Jane,
Don't ask questions.
But, Al, listen, you...
Do as I tell you.
Okay.
And since you have a grudge against Murray, I figured that you were the logical man to help me. Besides, if we get this, we'll establish the fact that you were roped in your deal with Murray.
I'd do anything to get even with Murray. I've waited a long time for the chance.
I see, it's all quite simple. I've explained to you just where the safe is, where the papers are in the safe, and I'd like to have those papers tonight.
I'd hate to get caught. You know Murray. What with my record?
Lambert and I just left Murray in his office. However, call him up and make sure he's still there.
Glad to see you back, Miss Murray. See you tonight at 8, dear. Good luck.
Don't worry about me. Everything's going to be all right.
Oh, Jane, welcome home. I'm so glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you, Miss Withers.
Did you have a nice trip?
Marvelous.
Oh, that's lovely.
What time do you expect Mr. Murray, Miss Winters?
He won't be home until dinner time, but I have your room all ready for you. Come on, darling, I'll show it to you. We've been robbed.
You better call Mr. Murray right away.
Oh,
So this whole scheme to swindle the city on the paving contract was conceived and directed by Hal Murray.
That's right.
If I grant you immunity, or at least try to let you off with a light sentence, you're willing to turn state's evidence?
I am.
And how about Lambert?
I can't answer for Lambert.
Send one of our men out to bring in David T. Lambert for questioning. Sign your name to... You needn't hesitate. I'm not going to use it against you. It'll only serve to put Murray where he belongs. For 15 years, Murray has been getting away with murder in this town. Ever since I was first elected district attorney, I've been trying to pin something on him. If your man Horn can get that contract, my case is set.
Horn should be here by now. He telephoned me that he got the contract.
Good. The minute he gives it to me, I'll get a warrant signed for Murray's arrest. Yes? Send him right in. He's here now.
Oh, I promised Horn that I'd ask you to do something for him.
I'll see what I can do.
All during dinner, you seemed rather worried.
Hmm? Oh, yes. I am a little upset.
Something about the paper that was stolen?
Yes, dear. That and other things. But don't you let that worry you.
It must be important. Why, you haven't even asked me about my trip.
Sorry. Did you enjoy yourself?
Oh, I had a glorious time. And I got so many ideas on decorating. I'd expected to stay another fortnight, but your cablegram sounded so urgent that I took the first boat.
Well, the reason I sent it was I had just learned that I was to make an extended trip to the Orient. And I wanted you to go with me.
But
I'd planned for us to be married when you come home.
Why, this is somewhat of a surprise.
But we won't have to make any preparations. I want to leave tonight, or not later than tomorrow morning. Oh, I've looked forward to this, Jane. I want to take you away.
Oh, please don't make it any harder than it is.
Well, Jan, you're acting foolish.
Oh, no, I'm not. I know you'll think I'm ungrateful, but I can't marry you. I just can't.
You mean that you don't care for me?
Oh, but I do. I do care for you. But you see, I've already promised to marry someone else.
Oh.
We would have been married by now. Only I wanted to tell you about it first.
Yes, of course. I suppose I'll have to make the best of it.
Oh, you're a brick. Of all the things that you've ever done for me, this is by far the sweetest.
About this young man. Somebody you met in Europe?
You know him. It's Bill Coleman.
Bill Coleman? Well, I hardly expected that. After all that's happened here, the night you returned from school?
Oh, but that was my fault instead of his.
My dear, the Colemans are society. Do you think they would approve of Bill's bringing you into the family?
I don't know about that.
But what about Bill?
Well, I haven't told him anything about myself. I tried to, but he wouldn't listen. And after all, the only thing that worried me was how you'd feel.
Well, how I feel hardly seems to enter into it. Let it go at that. Who can that be?
I'll see.
Good evening. Good evening. Is Miss Murray home?
Yes, step right in.
Hello, dear. Is everything all right? Fine.
Good evening, Mr. Murray. Good evening. Jane rather surprised me with the news about you two.
I bet you were no more surprised than I was.
What about me?
She made me follow her all over Europe before she'd even so much as speak to me.
Oh, so. Well, it was quite a coincidence, you two being in Europe at the same time.
Oh, it was no coincidence.
I'll say not. It was a nuisance. If you'll excuse me, I'll get my wrap.
Won't you sit down?
Yes, thanks.
Cigarette?
No, thanks.
Drink?
No?
I suppose you knew all about Jane's early history before you asked her to marry you.
Yes, Mabel told me. She was an unfortunate little kid, a victim of circumstances.
Yes. And your family? They have no objection to you marrying an ex-pickpocket?
Now, let me tell you that nothing you can say made me change my mind.
Oh, now, don't misunderstand me. I'm only trying to be positive that Jane isn't making a mistake. As her guardian, it's only natural that I should worry about her being subjected to any humiliation or unhappiness.
Rest assured, she'll always be accorded every courtesy and consideration.
Ready, Bill?
Yes, darling. Shall we go?
Good night. I'll see you in the morning.
Good night. Oh, by the way, how soon does this wedding take place?
Tomorrow morning.
Well, you better make it early if you expect me to be there, because I'm leaving at noon on an extended business trip.
We'll arrange the hour at your convenience.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello. Who is this? Talbot? This is Murray. Yeah, I want you and Slim to come over to my apartment right away. Yeah, and make it snappy. Now remember, Talbot. You too, Slim. I don't want any rough stuff. Just make sure that Coleman doesn't catch the train that my ward and I are taking in the morning. By the way, they're at a nightclub together now. When he brings her home, do your stuff.
You leave that to us.
Yeah, we'll take care of him.
I know I can depend upon you boys, but there's one thing. I don't want anything to happen around here.
Don't you worry about that.
Oh, I meant to tell you. There's word going around downtown that a couple of your friends are in trouble.
That's so?
Yeah, I understand that Sam Benson has made a confession to some big paving grant, and that the police are out looking for Dave Lambert.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that about Benson and Lambert.
We thought maybe you'd like to know.
Oh, yes, of course. They're friends of mine. Naturally, I'm interested in anything that might happen to them.
Well, that's all right, Mr. Murray. Leave everything to us.
Well, Talbot, you'd better phone me and, well, let me know how everything comes out.
We'll do that.
All right.
Goodbye.
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 Oh, Dan! Oh, Dan! Coming! Come on, hurry up. Got my trunk packed?
Practically.
Well, you better call the express company so they can be on the way while you finish packing.
Why, something else happened?
Oh, plenty. Benson's turned state's evidence, and they're looking for Lambert now.
Well, we better start doing something, haven't we?
Well, I should say so. I want to get out of here the minute Jane gets back. Now, hurry up and get that packed.
Shall we go, Bill?
Anytime you say.
Well, I'm rather tired after all the excitement today.
Of course. I should have known better than to ask you out tonight.
That's him now.
Well, here we are.
I sort of hate to go in.
You want to ride some more?
Don't forget I'm being married tomorrow.
Say, now that's right. And it's a darn good idea, too.
Oh, do you think so?
Think so. I've always been a firm believer in the theory that if we had more married wives, we'd have fewer unmarried husbands.
Oh, Bill, you're such an idiot.
Should we go in?
Don't bother to go with me. You know, we have a big day tomorrow.
Good night, dear.
Good night.
Let's go. Oh, I had Dan pack the trunk and put it in here. gets it out of the way until the expressman arrives. Did you have a nice evening?
Oh, I had a gorgeous time. But I expected you'd be in bed by now.
Well, I thought so too, but I couldn't sleep. A little upset about my business, and naturally the news about you and Coleman didn't help any.
You're a peach for taking it the way you are.
Well, your happiness, darling, means everything in the world to me.
Thanks for that.
How about closing in on them?
No, not yet.
If you'll excuse me, I think I'll retire.
Oh, sit down while I smoke a cigarette.
No, I'm dead to sleep. Good night.
Hello? 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 Who? Yeah? This is Murray. Lambert did what? A written confession, eh?
I'll run him in the curb.
What's going on here?
Those men were following me, officer. When I tried to turn the corner, they deliberately smashed into me.
Where are they now?
They ran down the street.
What's the matter? Have you been drinking?
No, I haven't been drinking. There's something very strange about this, officer. If you don't mind, I'm going down to the drugstore and make a phone call. You get the number of that car.
Sure, go ahead. I'll stay here to get back.
Okay.
Hello? 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 Supervisor? Well, what's the matter? Can't you get them? Well, it can't be busy so long at this time of night. No, never mind. Well, Dan, how about the expressman?
Why, I called him half an hour ago.
We'll go call him again. I want to get out of here.
All right.
Hurry up now. We got something?
Yes, I forgot my bag.
Is that it?
Thanks.
Just a minute. While you were out of the room, I was turning something over in my mind.
Yes, what was it?
It's about time we stop this play acting and get down to the real thing.
I don't understand.
Jane, when I want something in this town, I get it. Do I make myself clear?
On the contrary, you're talking in riddles.
Well, you're leaving tonight with me by train. Tomorrow, we sail for the Orient.
You may be sailing, but I'm not. I'm marrying Bill tomorrow.
You're not marrying Bill tomorrow. You're going with me.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Now, listen here. I'm still master of this house, and I'm still your guardian. Do you understand? You'll do as I say. Now, come on. We'll go get your things.
Oh, no, we won't.
You go make me use force. Oh,
Let me go! Let me go! I'll go tell Bill.
You're not going to tell Bill or anybody else. You're going with me.
No.
To live for, struck down,
Come on.
killed by a lion. Mark my words.
Yes? Oh, Bill.
Why, Jane. I felt that something was wrong. That's why I came back.
Oh, Bill. I can't Murray. He came at me. I was afraid.
Oh, no, Jane, you couldn't have done a thing like that. Oh, now pull yourself together. We've got to get the straight of this. Come on, sit down over here.
Oh, no, Bill. No. I can't stand it here. I won't stay here another minute.
Jane, you've got to hold on to yourself.
But what am I going to do?
That's my cab out in front of the curb. Now go there and wait for me while I run upstairs again and see how things stand.
Oh, Bill, please. Please don't go back up there.
Hello? Hello? Yes, Mr. Murray residence. No, Mr. Murray isn't in. Who? Oh, Jack, this is Dan. What's that? They've got a warrant out for his arrest. How long will it take him to get over here? All right.
It's so horrible.
It may not be as bad as you think. I'll be right down. Now run along.
Coleman, I'm glad you're back. Is Miss Jane all right?
Yes, I left her out in the cab. Tell me, Dan, what happened? Jane's too upset to talk.
Well, I don't exactly know what it was. They were having some kind of a quarrel about you.
Oh, I see. And he got rough with her, huh?
Well, I can't exactly say. I got the doorway in time to see Miss Jane bring that bronze lion down on the top of his head.
Well, where is he?
I put him in the trunk.
The trunk? Well, why didn't you call the police? Jane was only defending herself.
Yes, but we've got no way to prove it. The funny thing, the day Mr. Murray took charge of Jane, that old woman predicted he'd be killed by a lion. He laughed and said he'd have to stay away from the zoo.
What am I going to do, Dan?
I just remembered something that'll help you and Miss Jane out of this mess.
I'll do anything.
Mr. Murray had planned for he and Jane to leave tonight for San Francisco. They were going to sail for the Orient tomorrow.
Oh, I know that, but what's it got to do with this?
Well, that's easy. Murray told everybody he was going on an extended business trip. Now, you've got your passport, and Miss Jane's is in here. Here are the tickets. If you leave them here tonight, you'll be several days removed before anybody can start asking questions. And someplace along the route, you can get rid of that. Nobody will be any the wiser.
Good heavens, Dan, I couldn't do a thing like that.
It's either that or Miss Jane will have to stay and face the music. I'll go see who it is. Now, you take charge of these. Remember, I'm going to stick with you.
This is Al Murray's apartment, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is.
Tell him we're waiting for him. Want to have a little chat with him.
Mr. Murray isn't home, Sergeant.
Come on.
Where's Murray?
Just about now, San Diego.
San Diego, eh?
Yeah, I went on a business trip to Mexico.
Now, ain't that something?
Who owns this trunk?
Oh, Miss Jane Murray.
Does she always keep it here in her living room?
Well, you see,
It
officer,
happens that she just returned home from Europe today, officer. She and I are going to be married in the morning, and we're going on a honeymoon. The trunk's here as a matter of convenience.
And who are you?
My name's Coleman.
Don't mean a thing.
William X. Coleman. My home's in Oakmont Park.
Oh, yes, sure, I know you now.
Why, I won some money 6 months back betting on your polo team.
Is Miss Murray here?
No, she's at my home waiting for me.
Well, let's get going. We'll try to locate Murray in San Diego.
That's a good idea.
Well, I'll see you again, Coleman.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Did you notice that trunk?
Yeah. It had Murray's initials on it.
And no European label. If we keep our eyes on that trunk, it'll lead us to our man.
You have an hour and 45 minutes to catch the local, which takes you to the junction where you change for the express. And don't forget, I'll meet you at the depot.
Thanks, Dan. Look, get me a change of clothing for Jane. I'll stop up at my house and pick up what I need on the way down.
Very well, I'll get them right away.
This won't do, dear. You've got to brace up. Everything's going to come out all right.
But, Bill, I'm a murderess.
If you don't stop talking like that, someone's going to hear you.
But I am, Bill. I am.
Well, now what's the matter?
Checked at the station. They are in 2 compartments on the express.
See those 2 men? I saw them enter the apartment. I saw them again at the station. I know they're following us.
Jane, you're acting like a child. Now stop it.
Freight train run into number 9 up at the crossing. She's caught fire. Call the fire department and notify the wrecking crew. I'll stand by and do all I can. Make it snappy.
All right, Miss James?
Yes.
Mr. Murray. He's the baggage car alive. Murray? I put him in the trunk so he could escape.
We've got to get him out.
Oh, you go on. I'll wait here for you.
Come on, Bill, hurry up. Billy, there you are. Well,
I did the best I could, old pal.
I thought if we followed this skunk, we'd find our man. Come on, Murray.
Hey, lay off of him. Give him a chance.
Mrs. Coleman,
Yes, Mr. Coleman?
do you think you'll enjoy your stay in Shanghai?
I think so. Though I'm not so sure I like my traveling companion. But I understand the scenery is lovely.
Yes, indeed. I found just one thing wrong with Shanghai.
And what is that, Mr. Coleman?
The English and the Americans are all right, but the Chinese, they're far too oriental.